Welcome back.
Oh no, I'm flipping my hair.
Oh, stop it. Who do you think you are, Lizzo? Uh, okay, so tonight's conversation got pretty intense.
And long.
Long. We got heated. Not at each other,
No.
but like this is a topic that you and I are super, super passionate about.
Yeah.
So we got carried away. We went on some long walks here.
I don't know that we got carried away. We went on some long walks.
Okay.
But I think it's valuable information.
It's super valuable information.
It's valuable opinions.
So this whole episode is about things that we believe influencers and want to be influencers should stop doing. Mm-hmm. Excuse me.
Gross.
Very sudsy. Sorry.
Root beer.
Should stop doing in 2020. We're going to cover... Well, I don't want to give it all away.
No.
But trust me, I think this is our best episode yet, honestly.
Yeah, I feel like it's the one where we've had the most to say.
Yeah.
And about something that, like, I don't want to say matters, but, like, is an issue for a lot of people.
It's probably where we share the most, like, usable, enactable value.
Yes.
Not just us sitting around talking about how great we are.
Do we do that? I don't want to do that.
We should start.
Ugh.
Thanks for watching. I mean, wait, no. Enjoy the show. That's the one, because it's the beginning.
Things content creators, influencers should stop doing.
Things that we believe in the time that we've been doing this are detrimental to the industry, but more importantly, they are detrimental to your audience, and they're detrimental to you being able to continue doing what you love doing for a living, which is being an influencer. So, before we get into that, I just want to acknowledge and apologize to you, because I apologize to you privately, but I want to apologize publicly, because if you watched our last video which is basically just 12 minutes of us arguing.
It was a heated discussion.
It was a heated discussion. You will have noticed that I interrupted Tashina a lot, and it's something that I'm working on to not do, because I do want you to feel heard, because I do value your opinion.
Thank you.
And I know that you often feel like I don't value your opinion. And while I don't agree that that's 100% on me, I do feel like I do a lot of things to give you reasons to feel like you're not heard, and give you reasons to feel like I don't value your opinion. And that's not intentional. I do value your opinion very much. And it is a reflection of my lack of communication skills, and not a reflection of how I feel about you or your opinions.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Great. High five. Quiet high five, though, because we're right over this mic. Last time I had to drop the high five volume.
Loud high fives.
Another thing I wanted to address before we really dive into this is thank you to all of you who watch and comment on these videos. We read every single comment. Oftentimes we read them together when laying in bed. And it's usually just kind of like a quick, like, oh, that's really nice. Or like throughout the day, I might pull up my phone and be like, oh, this is funny. Like the person who said, that bloody drone. Like, I brought that up to you like an hour ago. I was like, that's some funny shit. However, even though we read all of them, honestly, a lot of times when I'm reading them, I'm kind of like relaxed, and I'm not really in like interaction mode.
Yeah.
And I know that happens for you too, especially with, I mean, you're inundated with comments and emails and DMs on all these different platforms. I'm not so much, which is, why it's normally me responding.
Yeah, I still read all of them.
Right, you still read all of them. I guess what I'm just trying to say is thank you for commenting.
Yeah.
We both only have so many resources, and oftentimes we kind of have to decide, are we going to use these resources to create content so that we can put more out for you to watch and hopefully enjoy? Or are we going to use those resources responding to comments and responding to DMs? And a lot of times we opt for creating the content. So if we've ever not responded to your comments, please, it's not because we don't love you. We do very, very much every single positive comment. Like, it makes both of us so happy, especially, you know, in a world where there's a lot of negativity. It's super helpful to have your positivity, and we hope that we bring positivity to your lives. And it's definitely something that we are both constantly working on being better at, and making sure to get back to everybody. But just know that it's not, there's no ill intent. It's just, like I said, we only have so many resources, and we have to choose where to put those resources. And a lot of times it gets put into the content creation, the editing, all the behind the scenes stuff, and then it doesn't leave so much for engaging with people. And I think that's actually perfect jumping off point, because that's actually one thing that I think people need to do differently. Influencers who don't respond to comments are idiots.
I agree.
I have to throw ourselves under the bus.
Yeah.
Because I think it's true. I think, how dare we sit here and make these videos, and then when somebody takes the time to watch them and appreciate them and comment that they appreciate it, how dare we not respond to them? I actually really do feel that way. It's a huge source of guilt for me.
Yeah, actually. It is for me too. Like, I spend a lot of time, like, I'll go take a bath, and I'll sit in the bathtub and be like responding to people, like, during what should be downtime.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to sound ungrateful. I just mean, like,
just gonna pour some whiskey into this.
It's challenging to balance, and I think especially for me, because I'm the one that replies through, like, the Logical Harmony Instagram, YouTube, emails, Twitter, blah blah blah.
Yeah, I don't.
Like, it's hard to manage, and it's hard to get to everyone.
I would say I respond to 1 out of every 2,000 or 3,000 comments that you respond to.
Yeah.
Because usually I only respond when somebody says something really shitty, and I want to say something really shitty back, and I want to be like, fuck you.
And usually you do that because I show it to you, because I'm like, do I
bummed.
Delete this? Yeah, I'm like sad. I'm like, I don't necessarily want to censor people. Like, did I misunderstand what they're saying? And like, did it hurt my feelings unnecessarily? And so it's helpful that when it's something, sometimes like on the Lush naked video, we get some inappropriate comments, and I'll show him, because I think it's like
the guy who commented, I dare you to, what did he say?
I dare you to go naked and not have the blur, or something.
To not blur it out, like to not censor it. And so I just responded, I dare you to not be an idiot.
Yeah, and I was just going to respond literally with, like, do you actually think I was naked walking around downtown? Like, what? Anyway, I agree. It's something I need to be better about. I need to get to more of them. It's a challenge. It's always going to be a challenge. It will never not be a challenge. But I think it's good to address it. And I think it's something that people should get in the habit of earlier.
Totally.
Because I think once you make it a habit, it becomes easier. And as you grow, stuff's going to fall through the cracks.
Yeah, there's no way to keep up with everything, because, again, you would literally have to stop making the content to be able to respond to everything.
And it's a tricky balance, because you're like, you want to respond to everyone, but you also want to produce content, and you only have so many, like, mental resources.
Yeah. I think too, going back, like, bringing this back around to influencers, I think the problem that I have with influencers who don't do that is then they also complain about not having the things that would bring. Like if you don't have time to respond to every comment, okay, because that happens at a surprisingly low level, especially like we get comments on the blog, we get emails from the blog, we get messages on Twitter, we get DMs on Twitter, DMs on Instagram, comments on Instagram, comments on YouTube,
messages on YouTube.
Like, even if that's like, a few on each one, it adds up, and it snowballs so fast. If you miss one day, excuse me,
it's insane.
It's very bubbly.
It's like hundreds a day between all of them, I would say.
Right.
Usually.
And so I do think that we all need to be understanding, as creators, we need to be understanding of ourselves, that that's just going to happen.
Yeah.
And as audience members, I mean, because I tweet at people and they don't respond. Mm-hmm. And as audience members, we have to also get, like, there's no way they're going to see every comment. I think the part I have a problem with is, if you're an influencer who's not doing that, or not making a huge effort to do it at least, then how dare you complain about not having engagement?
Yeah.
How dare you complain about people not clicking your affiliate links. How dare you complain about brands not wanting to work with you? Like, I'm so sick of all these influencers complaining about the algorithm. The fucking algorithm. Oh, the algorithm. I've been shadow banned. Like,
shadow ban doesn't exist. Sorry.
Like, fucking, but it's something that people say. And my point is just that I'm so sick of influencers complaining about not having all this stuff or complaining about the algorithm when they aren't engaging with people. And they're not at least... And again, you can't get to every comment, but if you're not putting in hours a day, if you're not really, really trying to show appreciation back to the people that are showing appreciation for you, then you don't deserve any of those things. You don't deserve engagement. You don't deserve people to click your affiliate links. And you sure as fuck don't deserve to get paid by brands for your engagement.
Yeah.
And you don't deserve more followers. Fuck you. If you can't serve the followers that you already have, then fuck you. You don't deserve any more.
That was...
No, that's 100% how I feel.
It's very blunt. I think, too, having worked for 2 different community platforms, what I think is the most important thing to highlight about any algorithm is you get what you give. That's the most important thing. So you can blame the algorithm, but ultimately, you get what you give. So if you are active on a platform, if you're engaging, if you're taking advantage of different features, like the algorithm, which algorithms do exist, it will favor you. There are certain things you can do that will trigger spam filters. There are certain things you will do that will... If you're not engaged in the platform doesn't see you as a valuable user. I think that's the bluntest way to explain it.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of nuance and detail to that. What am I doing?
I don't know.
I think there's so much, and you have such a in-depth knowledge of that.
Yeah.
There's no way we could cover that in a few minutes or even an hour. But I think it's worth
mentioning, because whenever I hear anyone bring up the algorithm, it's painful because having been on the platform side, I'm like, it's in your control.
I agree with you.
It's completely in your control.
Okay, so tell me if you agree with this, because I kind of think this is what you're saying. This is my interpretation of what you're saying.
Okay.
You tell me if I'm getting it right. What I'm hearing is, yeah, of course algorithms exist. Of course they do.
Yeah.
They exist everywhere. That's not new. They exist for search engines. They exist for Instagram. They exist for everything on the internet.
Yeah.
And I think that when people complain about the algorithm, it's because they're trying to find a way to game it.
Yes.
And like get one over on the algorithm. And then they're like upset about the algorithm. Like, stop being obsessed about the algorithm.
Yes.
Like, just create content that makes your audience want to be on the platform. That's what the algorithm cares about.
And not even just that, but be on the platform like a normal human being.
Yeah, when you're using it, don't do 800 follows and then 600 unfollows the next day. That's not real. That's not how real people use it. You're trying to again, you're trying to game the system. You're trying to game
the system. Yeah, and that's what triggers spam filters. That's what algorithms change to prevent, is people gaming the system in an unfavorable way, because ultimately every platform, every social platform is about building community.
Yeah.
And if you are not on there building a community, you're not leveraging the platform for what its purpose is, and why should it serve you?
Yeah.
Like, that's the ultimate thing. Like, people forget that, like, okay, like, yes, platforms make money through sponsored posts or whatever. It is pennies compared to what they get from their investors by having a high number of actively engaged users using a variety of features. That is what funds the platforms. It's not you promoting an Instagram post. That makes them pennies compared to what their investors fund, which is solely based on their active users. That is the most important value. At both platforms that I worked at, that was literally the most important thing to the investors, was how many daily active users do you have and how many features of the platform are they using.
Okay, so I don't know enough about that to get into it, and I feel like we could argue and discuss, but
we don't need to.
Well, and I also think, like, for what you're saying, it's like, yeah, like the principle is just don't be a dickhead.
Yeah, your post isn't doing well because Instagram wants you to pay for it to be sponsored. Your post isn't doing well because
I wasn't getting what you were saying.
You're not engaging in content on the platform. Like, you're not replying to your comments. You're not replying to your DMs. You're not using the Discover feed.
We're saying the same thing.
You're not finding new accounts. You're not creating a community.
Totally.
You're not fostering community.
Right.
That is the number one most important thing for any of the social platforms.
So you're saying is you hear people complain all the time about, oh, the algorithm fucked me. The algorithm, because they just want me to pay to promote my stuff. And you're like, no, listen, even if that is true, which like let's just accept that may be true to a degree. But even if it is, the bigger issue is, like you said, these people aren't actually creating a community. They're not putting out valuable content. They're spending so much time trying to game the system. Yeah. Which I think, do you have any more thoughts on that? Because I think that's a perfect segue into comment
It's pods. A perfect segue. I have one other
thing. Yeah, please.
Okay. Well, I was just going to say, like, with the platforms I've worked at, I think that, do advertising dollars matter? Yes. But the platforms care way more about getting the big advertising dollars from brands than they care about getting pennies from a content creator. Totally. They don't care. What you're throwing in, you could throw in $3,000 to a sponsored Instagram post. That is nothing compared to what a huge, American massive corporations, is going Amazon to throw into one post. Yeah. It's nothing. And so stop thinking about it in that way, because that's not what it's about.
This reminds me so much about what we were talking about the FAA and the new remote ID drone regulations, where basically all these people are fighting, like people who fly remote control, planes versus people who fly drones like I do, and they're fighting amongst themselves. And it's like, look, you guys don't understand that this tiny little argument is like ants on a log.
Blip. It's a freaking blip. Yeah.
Freaking blip.
And I think that's the thing too, is people will be like, but I have 1 million followers. When you look at the average like daily active users on Instagram, the beauty community especially is such a tiny blip on the map.
Do you remember when all those beauty influencers were like, we're going to boycott Instagram and we're going to show them?
You are such a small, insignificant percentage to
I
the
remember
platform.
We added up the number of followers that all those people who had like pledged to boycott Instagram, which by the way, how's that boycott going? Let me know. But we had added up the number. This was like a year or two ago.
It was a while ago.
But we'd added up that number versus the number of people actually on Instagram, and it was like 0.05%.
It wasn't even the people on. It was the average daily active user, which is going to be smaller than the number of people on. And it was fascinating to me, having worked for platforms. I was like, I really want to know how big of a fish in this is this, or how big of a fish in the pond is this.
Yeah, right.
And it was like, you're a tadpole.
It was comical.
You're a tadpole.
It was comical, like, dude, you could all go off of Instagram for 2 months and Instagram wouldn't even notice.
No, because niche audiences aren't a big deal. The thing is that what matters most to Instagram or any platform is, again, daily active users.
We really should have someone from Instagram confirming that a lot of these claims we're making.
I know. But, like, having worked at 2 platforms, that was the key thing there. And, like, some of our most valuable platform users that we would actually contact to get platform feedback from were like retired 65-year-old men that used the platform all the time. Like we would seek those people out and be like, hey, we're thinking about implementing this new feature. How would it impact your workflow? How would it impact what you do? Yeah, we would ask brands on the platform that, but we really looked at who is actively using the most features of our platform, because they're going to understand these nuances and like what's valuable to them. How can we better serve them? Yeah. And I think that's really important to matter, is it's not necessarily about your number of followers, because that's insignificant to a platform. It's about if you're building community. Anyway, rant over. I could go on that for forever. And I'm not saying I know everything, but I feel like working at 2 platforms and with what I did as my role at both, I feel like I got a good understanding, and I got a lot of like behind the scenes knowledge about other social platforms too. Yeah.
Just to be critical of ourselves, because I agree with you, but just to be critical of ourselves, I would make the argument that, that was a couple of years ago that you worked there. It was. And that those are very, very different. Like, while, yes, they are technically social media platforms, I wouldn't even say social media. I would say social platforms.
They're social platforms.
They're very different than Instagram and all that. Hold on. I know you want to interrupt and say something.
I do so bad.
But just let me finish. Yeah. That being said, I still think that 99.9% of what you're saying, even if it's not correct in the, like, specific verbiage that you're using, I think the macro of what you're saying is 100% true.
Yeah.
And that's what people need to get, is that, like, people get caught up in these tiny little details and these tiny little differences, and they think they can game the system because of it, and they're not looking at the macro picture.
Yeah.
And I think, the macro of what you're saying, like, I 100% agree with, like, social. That's the key word.
Yeah.
Like,
social,
not
community.
robots, not pretending like you're friends with people. Like, remember when you were in high school and there was the person who pretended like they were friends with people to get to get other people to like them? Did it ever fucking work? Maybe for a small amount of time.
Yeah.
But in the long run, nobody fucking cared because they didn't actually care about the people that they were pretending to care about.
Yeah.
And anyway, now please, with your interruption.
I was gonna say, like yes, I worked for social platforms, different format. I didn't work for Instagram. I didn't work for Twitter. I didn't work for Facebook, but I sat in on lots of meetings with people who did, and they would explain what was going on with the algorithm, and then it was our job to communicate that to our very high-paying corporate customers.
Yeah, 100%.
So my understanding, it is a couple years old. It is dated. I don't think the fundamentals have changed.
Turn it off. Okay. Sorry, but keep going.
I don't think the fundamentals have changed because at the core they are social platforms. They are community platforms. Like,
yeah, I agree.
everything about how they make money ties into community.
Totally, 100%.
Which, moving on to the next point.
Yeah. By the way, before we move on, what are you drinking? You have 2 drinks going here.
This is just ginger ale, and this is a gin and tonic.
That's ginger beer.
Oh, ginger
Sorry,
beer.
I know because I served it for you.
It's not very gingery for ginger beer, though.
No, it's not. Although, I feel like, I mean, I don't know if you had ginger beer before you and I met, but the ginger beer that I like is so intense. I feel like my palate is like, I need it up here. Like, I need it, like, spicy, gingery.
Yeah. So before you...
And not super sweet.
Sorry for interrupting. Yeah.
No, that's fine.
Before you and I met, I wasn't vegan. I ate honey, so I drank, like, the Reed's extra spicy. That was what I would get.
Yeah.
So to me, that's why I said ginger ale.
Yeah. Got it.
And then a gin and tonic, which is pretty tasty.
Gin and tonic, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
With Lewis and Clark gin that you bought because it's from Oregon. Is that why you bought it, or did you buy it because of the price point?
Both.
Aww.
I was, like, looking at ones that were similar, and I was like, oh, this one's from Oregon. Like, I feel like they would do botanicals well. And I feel like they do.
Mm-hmm. I haven't tasted this.
What YouTube channel was I watching?
Good.
I can't remember what I was watching, but there's some conspiracy about one of them getting murdered.
Okay.
Anyway.
One of what? Oh, Lewis and Clark.
Yeah,
I
can't remember which one.
I thought we were still talking about gin. Got it.
No. I'll have to dig into that because now I'm curious.
Okay. Let us know.
Yeah.
Get back to us. Yes.
I was going to take us really off topic. So.
Okay, well, please don't, because I feel like
I won't. Let's get
this is one of the few episodes where we're actually
we have
on
a
a topic.
to dive into.
Yeah. We can do another one after this if you want, where we just talk about whatever.
No. It's like a
Lewis and Clark
2-sentence thing.
Well, then please.
Sabine from Lush posted a cryptozoological map of the U.S. and apparently, okay, well, so I reshared it on my stories, and apparently there is a lake monster in northern Utah, and I've been digging into it. It hasn't been sighted in years though.
What lake? Because we're in northern Utah.
But like it's a lake that crosses the border with Idaho, so it's a couple hours away. I can't remember the name.
Maybe
off the
it's a
top of my
potato
head.
monster.
It's not a potato monster.
How do you know?
Anyway,
You don't know that. Could
so
be.
related to the
Also,
Lewis
if you
and
can
Clark
hear it banging around, it's
conspiracy.
our upstairs neighbor's dogs.
That's another thing I want to dig into.
Got it. Okay. We'll save that for your cryptozoology podcast.
Yeah.
Launching tonight at 9 p.m. Just kidding. That's not a real thing.
No, it's not.
Don't feel lied to.
Okay, let's move on.
Thanks for asking. I'm drinking black cherry soda with black cherry seltzer water with whiskey. Whiskey. And there's something else I was going to say, but we should just get back on the topic because I don't remember what it was, but I'm 100% sure it had nothing to do with what we're actually trying to talk about.
Yeah.
Comment pods and like pods.
Fucking worst.
Idiots. Stop it.
Stop it.
Stop it.
It's so transparent.
Okay.
It's fake engagement.
So let's break down what it is, though, because I'm sure a lot of people don't know what this is.
Yeah.
So basically, a comment pod and a like pod are when a group of influencers, I'm doing air quotes if you're listening to the audio of this, a group of influencers says, hey, nobody's engaging with our content, so let's all make a promise that we'll all engage with each other's content.
Yeah.
So then whenever one of us posts something, we're all going to go and like and comment on that post, and that's going to boost our engagement. Now, why would people want to do that? A good reason, sorry, not a good reason, but a
reason people give.
A reason people do that is because they believe that it is boosting their engagement, which is technically true. And why would they want higher engagement? Because engagement is one of the metrics that brands look at when they're deciding whether they want to work with you. And it's one of the metrics that platforms look at when they decide your value as an influencer. However, it's fake. It's fucking fake.
It's super
If you're
fake.
in a comment pod or in a like pod,
Stop.
you're a fucking liar. You're lying to your audience, and you're lying to the brands that work with you, and it's going to bite you in the ass. I promise you that.
Yeah, it definitely will. I mean, Instagram has said we are going to actively punish people who do this. So if you guys don't realize, Instagram monitors everything on the platform. I
case you
don't
didn't
know
know.
how that's a surprise to people, that they know when you're in group chats and you're sharing your own posts into the group chat, and then everyone in the group chat goes and likes your post. They know. As a platform, you know literally everything that happens. It is all in a numeric system. And they've actively spoken out against this and said it is false engagement. It's not bettering the community. And so people are like, oh, we need to move to Telegram or whatever. And then
What's Telegram?
Telegram is like a messaging app, like WhatsApp.
Oh, so they can hide it from Instagram? Jesus.
That's why they think, but Telegram shares data with Instagram. So Instagram then knows. So basically,
Why do these
like,
people think they can get away with this
it's
stuff?
just so much work. Honestly, it's so much work to engage on content you don't actually care about, where you should be spending that on content you do care about. Like, that's the thing. Don't spend your time engaging with other people where you don't care about their content. Spend it engaging on stuff you truly care about.
Okay, let's just pause right there.
Yeah.
Because I know what a lot of people are going to be thinking. A lot of people who are in comment pods and like pods. They're going to be saying, this is content that I do care about. Whether it's because this is a friend of mine or whether it's because they're in the same niche, this is stuff I care about.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's necessarily like all of these people are only doing it, you know, like they're doing it for all the stuff they don't really actually care about.
Yeah.
It's just that it's fake engagement.
It's fake engagement. It's misleading brands.
Super
Brands have
misleading.
spoken out against
That's
it.
a good word for it. It's super
It's
misleading.
super
It's just
misleading.
super dishonest. Like,
It's-
it's faking it.
Yeah, it's faking it. It's sending the signal to brands and saying, like, I have this number of people that always comment on my stuff. A brand pays you for sponsored things. And then because most of your comments are from people in pods, they're not purchasing and they're
Yeah.
not following through. Like, they're not clicking
Right,
through those
yeah.
links, all those things that matter to the brands. Like, you're not providing them with ROI because it was based on false pretenses.
Totally. Yeah. 100%.
And again, I go back to, like, maybe you do care about what other content creators create. Like, I do with certain content creators.
Well,
And
yeah.
I engage when I see it, or I turn post notifications on and I
Totally.
get involved.
Yeah.
But I don't care about literally everything everyone posts.
Right.
Except for Rand.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think you do care about literally everything Rianne posts. Because you two are legitimate friends. And
Yeah.
and that is different. I just to clarify for people, in case you're not familiar with what is happening and what we're discussing, engaging with friends of yours who legitimately you love everything they post
Yeah.
and you're legitimate friends, that's not what we're talking about.
No.
That's real.
Yeah.
We're talking about a tactic that you are specifically doing to try to trick someone. You're trying to trick
game
your
the
audience.
system.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're trying to trick your audience into thinking that other people care about your content. You're trying to trick brands into thinking that you have high engagement, which, guess what? They're going to realize that when they pay you for something and it doesn't get engagement, or it gets engagement but nobody clicks through your link or whatever, don't you think they're going to notice? Like that's the thing that gets me, is like, what is your end game here? Like, what's the best
Yeah.
case scenario? You're going to trick a brand. Guess what? You trick them once and you're never going to trick them again, because they're going to realize you're not actually an influencer and you're fucking faking it. And that's it. And they're never going to work with you again. And that's way worse than you having to put in the time and actually build an audience that cares and actually be able to convert. Like,
yeah,
you're shooting, like, I think that's what gets me is, yeah, you're lying to your audience, you're lying to brands. Maybe you don't care about that, but, like, how do these people not care about the impact that it's having on themselves?
I think they don't realize. Like, that's the thing. Not. So, in my experience and what I've seen with people I've talked to and in Facebook groups is it's a lot of the same people that are caught up in the algorithm issue.
Yeah.
And they are...
I think a lot of these issues are.
Yeah. And it's like...
similar, connected.
Yeah.
The same mindset.
Exactly. The same mindset. And they, like... They don't put in the time that it takes to build their community. They want shortcuts. They want things to be quick and easy and to just happen. Like... maybe how Instagram was when there weren't as many active users on it. Like, it was easier to get reach way back in the day because you had less competition. Like, that's just, that's how all platforms are. That's how it works. And instead of evolving and growing and changing, or even like pivoting your content, asking your audience what they want, putting out stuff you're truly passionate about, like all these different things that you could be doing, it's wasting time in the wrong buckets that truly don't matter. Like, it's not... I can't imagine it's enriching. I can't imagine it's creating a rewarding experience for you as the content creator, but it's also not for your followers.
Yeah, 100%.
And like, you know, there are certain people I love their content. Like, obviously Rianne, Jay Kissa, Marquis Megan, Belle Jordan. Those are people I all have post.
Justin Mendez.
Yes, actually you. Yeah, I have post notifications turned on for all of you because I like
every month.
Genuinely love your content and feel super inspired by it.
You genuinely love my content.
I do love your content.
I don't believe you for 1 minute.
Maybe not all the drone stuff all the time. I'm just saying, like, there are certain people where
I'm
like
back to California. That was hurtful.
I'm just saying, like, I like, it's content that inspires me.
Yeah.
And so I want to actively engage with it. Instagram doesn't always give me the notifications. Like, I miss it sometimes. I was telling Marquis the other day, like, sometimes I miss notifications.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it's about what you put into it. And, like, instead of the time wasted on these things, spend time building your own community. Spend time, like, engaging with your followers, looking at their content, looking at, you know, stuff you're interested in on Instagram.
Yeah.
And, like, if you're in a comment pod with someone and you really love their content, you would engage with it outside of the pod.
Stop being in comment pods.
Yeah, just stop.
Love of God.
Because if you really love their content, you would engage with it without the content pod. Like, I think that's the bottom line. If you're only in it because they're in your comment pod, don't do it.
Which, by the way, that in and of itself is just... you're in it because they're gonna like your stuff. Like, that in itself is dishonest.
It's
and like, that's not even, it's transactional. Like, that's not even a friendship. That's like literally, that's not even helping each other. That's like, I'll scratch your back if you scratch mine. That's not the same as I want to scratch your back because I love you.
Exactly.
Tashina loves having her back scratched. Just a fun little side note.
I really, really do.
Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and you're totally asleep and I just scratch your little back and you make these little noises like you go,
like I just did.
Yeah, exactly. It's really cute.
You can thank
it.
my sister Erica for that.
That seems awkward.
When I was a baby, apparently she used to scratch my back so I would fall asleep.
Thanks, Erica. I'm sure she's watching.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a waste of time. Like, if it's someone whose content you truly love, you would engage with it enough for it to show up in your Instagram feed. Yeah. I think, too, that's the bottom line, is people see what they engage with.
So I guess the counter to comment pods is, like you just said, look, if you have friends, even people that you don't know.
Yeah.
People you have no idea who they are, and people who you have nothing to gain from liking their content, but you really love their content.
Yeah.
Then turn on post notifications and like their stuff and engage with it. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No.
But it's a big part of it is just the intent. When you have the intention to like somebody's content or comment on somebody's content specifically because you want to help them game the system, that is gross. Don't do that.
Yeah, it's not authentic. And I think authenticity is at the core of community.
Oh, you know what I think a good analogy for this is? It's like if your friend has a business and you go on and give all these positive reviews on Yelp, Look, if the food sucks,
It
people
sucks.
are going to realize it. The business is going to go out of business regardless of your fake reviews.
Yeah.
And that's exactly how it is. If an influencer, I'm doing air quotes again if you're listening to this, if an influencer needs you to fake engage with their content, they're not a real influencer, and they're not going to win in the long run anyway. So just fucking stop.
Well, and I think my take too, if you are the influencer that's in those, get out of them.
Yeah.
Know that your engagement is going to drop, but use that as an advantage to reconnect with your audience and to rethink your content. Like,
True.
figure out, what do you enjoy creating? What does your audience enjoy? Like, use it as a point to start fresh. Like, don't see it as a bad thing. See it as a good thing. Like, yes, your numbers might drop, but in the long run, you're going to do so much better that it's worth that happening. And I know it's scary for people, but like, it's worth the risk, because think about the long term. That's the thing, is you can't think about the short term. Think about the long term, and think about how much more value it's going to be in every way to have an engaged community, like a truly engaged community around your content, versus content creators that could replace you in a comment pod because you didn't respond to someone else quick enough.
Dang.
Like,
so true.
It's just not valuable. It's not worth your time. Like, spend that time truly engaging with your audience. Find out what they want to see. Again, find out what you want to create. Like, don't be afraid to pivot.
Yeah, true. This marble table's cold, and my
It
hoodie
is.
and both my hoodie and my sweater are dirty.
Oh no, we should do laundry tomorrow.
We should really do laundry tomorrow.
All right, moving on.
Well, yeah, sorry, just one more thing on that.
Yeah.
Because that was such a good point, and like you said earlier, it's so transactional, and you can be replaced when things are transactional.
Completely.
I think one big issue, and I think this is particularly true for those of us who grew up pre-internet, is that there's this mentality of fake it till you make it. And I think that Gary Vee has a really great way of addressing that, which is like, fake it till you make it worked when people couldn't see your real life.
Yes.
But like, that's not the world we're in anymore.
No.
It's like, I was recently reminded of Little Bow Wow. Do you remember this?
With the private plane?
Yeah, so
private plane.
So Little Bow Wow posted, was it on Instagram?
Yeah.
Little Bow Wow posted on Instagram that he was taking this private jet.
It was like a photo of a private jet, yeah.
And then somebody, like, you know, a few minutes or an hour or whatever, he was on their plane and they posted a photo of him. Is that what happened? And it obviously went viral. And I don't know how popular he was at the time, but it definitely was a negative mark on his reputation.
Yes. Because then people reverse Google image searched his Instagram photo, and it was a stock photo.
Wait, he wasn't even in front of a
No.
jet?
It was
like
a photo of a jet.
It was like
a
Photoshop.
stock photo. No, it wasn't even photoshopped. He just posted a photo of a
He
private
wasn't
jet.
even in the photo?
No. And it was a stock photo. Or like from a website. Like, it was like...
No, I know what a stock photo is.
I know, I'm sorry. If other people don't, I'm explaining.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So stock photos and stock footage are things that that you can purchase to use, and that can be very helpful. Like for example, let's say you travel to Chicago, and you record this great vlog.
Yeah.
But you didn't have enough time to stop and shoot, a shot of like a time lapse of the sun rising over Chicago, or you didn't have the gear or whatever. You could buy a video clip of the sun rising over Chicago and put that in your video. That's not, it's not dishonest. It's adding to the vlog to give people this view, or you could buy drone footage of Chicago to give context. That's normal. That's regular. That's what stock stuff is used for. But to use a stock photo.
I mean, it might have been a photo from a corporate website, but regardless.
Either way.
If it was from a corporate website, it was probably a stock photo anyway.
Ugh.
It was bad.
Jeez Louise. That is just terrible. So the moral of the story, kids, friends, adults, human beings, aliens, whoever's listening to this in 2090. Tynan. Sure. Tynan, because he's going to live forever, just like you and Rianne. Uh-huh. In your fucking forest, your fairy forest. I don't know.
Anyway.
Is Rianne a fairy too, or is it just you?
I have no idea who is.
What mythical creature would Tynan be?
Tynan would be an elf.
Yeah?
But like not like a baking cookies in a tree elf. He'd be like a Legolas elf.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see Tynan having like a super badass side to him that we don't even know about.
Yeah.
Like every weekend you think Tynan's going out and partying, but he's actually like mastering Brazilian jiu-jitsu or like Krav Maga, and like he's actually a superhero and we just don't know.
Yeah, I would not be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised either.
Anyway, I had one more thing to say about that
Please.
topic though.
Yep.
Like going to your point, if people will find out, like brands check these things. Brands are becoming more intelligent. They're becoming more aware. Sure. And so like if you post a photo that has 1,500 likes and 12 comments, it's more common now for brands to go, that doesn't seem to add up. And look at who's liking your photo and see it's a bunch of accounts with no photo and the username is a bunch of numbers.
Yeah.
Like, or that it's the same 12 people over and over.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think, like we were talking earlier when we were making dinner, and to your point, a lot of these brands are, before when the whole social media thing was new, these brands were established. They had established employees.
Yeah.
Now that things are growing, they're starting to hire people who have been influencers or who have been content creators in one form or another. People who know the games that people play. And yeah, like you said, brands are getting smarter. Like if you're tricking brands now in 2020, or if you were in 2019, like you might want to stop because it's not going to last. And when you lie, when you fake, sooner or later, the world finds out. And because of the internet, they're going to find out a lot faster. Things are measurable. Things are trackable. It's not... The period of fake it till you make it is long gone.
Totally. Like some of the Facebook groups I'm in are for influencers. Some are not. And in some of the ones that are not, it is people who create content and also work for brands.
Yeah.
And I've seen them say in threads like, oh, I'm in like the Reward Style Facebook group and I look specifically...
Reward Style is an affiliate platform.
Yeah.
Go on.
They're like, I specifically, for my day job, like I'm in there because I'm a content creator, I'm on Reward Style, but for my day job, I'm in there looking for people who are in comment pods that have pitched us for sponsored stuff.
Wow.
And that is a primary part of my job, is to not give them sponsored things because I see that what they're doing is not authentic. Amazing.
I love
and so to see these conversations, like they're in those things, they see it, because like you said, they've been hiring people that are influencers or content creators and understand that people do these things.
Yeah.
They're becoming more aware of them. They're smarter. Totally. They're not just throwing money at it anymore. Like they're being a lot smarter about their investments. Yeah. And as a content creator, again, I get that it can be scary and it's unpredictable, but be authentic. And that's just going to get you so much farther. Yeah. Because also, like, you just don't know. Like, you don't want to, I don't know, don't waste your money.
Don't be a fucking
Don't waste
liar.
your time. Don't waste your money. Yeah.
Agreed. All right. Well.
I think don't waste your money brings us to the next one.
Does it? What's the next one?
Isn't it loop giveaways?
Oh, loop giveaways and secret giveaways.
Loop giveaways.
Okay. So, I think with how much we said about comment pods, and because we're at 42 minutes.
Oh, sheesh.
Yeah. Oh, sheesh. Oh, gee, golly.
Fork.
Mother forking shirt balls.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we can probably get through this one pretty quick.
Yeah.
So,
don't do them.
What?
Don't do them.
Don't do that. Well, yeah, but also, in case you don't know what a loop giveaway is, a loop giveaway is when one... usually it's organized by one person, or maybe 2 or 3 people, and what they do is they get a bunch of other people who want to be influencers to give them money toward a giveaway prize. Like, let's say it's like an iMac, or what are some other prizes you've seen?
Louis Vuitton bags. That's a common one.
Bags. Sometimes they're just like $1,000 in a Sephora gift card, and then what they do, or cash or whatever. And sometimes, so what they do is you go to one person's profile and it's like, hey, to enter the giveaway, like and follow this person.
Yeah.
And then that person is like, hey, to follow the to enter the giveaway, like and follow this person. And it just keeps going. And there might be 20 or 30 people that are involved. Hold on, because I'm just explaining what it is.
Yeah, I know.
Tipsy Tashy's in the building,
Sorry.
people. No, it's fine. It's just, normally you're like,
I'm much more patient.
yeah,
normally,
I feel like I get more patient when I drink, and you get less patient when you drink.
Yeah.
Is that accurate, or do I
think so.
also get less patient?
No, I think
I get more easily excitable.
yes. I get less patient because I have stuff to say, especially about topics like this.
I just want to
Yeah.
cover the definition. So basically, the premise is that you end up as an audience member following 30 different people. And because the prize is so big, a ton of people do that. So all these 30 people who have entered get all of these people to start following them because they want to win this prize. Okay.
So what I was going to say is that became so problematic. So initially when it started, it was actual legitimate things. Like a few people, like 3 people would come together and be like, let's do a giveaway together with this brand.
Yeah.
And it was very legitimate. And then it just like got bigger and bigger and escalated. And Instagram, that's another thing. They were like, hey, this is like, I forget what they called it, but they were like, we don't condone this. So like, if you started doing it in that format, they were deleting people's accounts and removing them because they were like, it violates our spam policy. So then that's another thing people found workaround through. It's like, they'd post it in their stories like, oh, follow these people and then slide the heart eyes to show that you entered. And like you'll get someone will get a 500 cash prize. Like it's again a way people are like quote unquote gaming the system.
Yeah.
And again, like it's just not like people aren't following you at that point because they care about your content. They're following you because they want an iMac or a Louis Vuitton bag. Like as soon as the giveaway's over, most people will unfollow you. And like the thing is too is it's not that people were paying it's not like 5 people paying $20 for a $100 gift card. It was like 5 people paying $60 for a $100 gift card. Like someone was making money. And it's not that there's necessarily anything wrong with making money online, but ultimately it's buying followers. And it's buying followers in a way of people that aren't interested in your content. Whereas when they first started, it'd be people in the same niche doing it together. So it was like a way of being like, hey, I love you. I love your content. My audience would love your content because we're in the same space. Like it started as a very organic, natural thing.
Did it though?
It did.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
I think it started as much more organic and natural than it is now. Whereas now it's like you see, like I see them occasionally. Like I got pitched to be a part of one that was a secret loop giveaway, meaning that it's not exposed who's in it.
Wow.
Like that the influencer was. It was a influencer here in Salt Lake, actually.
Huh.
They didn't it was their manager that emailed, and they're like, if you pay $2,500, you can be one of 50 people that are part of this giveaway. To enter, people will have to follow all of you, and it's a secret loop giveaway, so you'll never actually see.
I wonder if the influencer
person
even knew that their manager's doing this.
I don't know, but it's come up in the in Facebook groups I've been in as a repeated thing with this person. So I kind of think they do because it seems like one of their revenue streams.
Huh.
But it was just like it made me see the influencer very differently. It made me see their content very differently. And it made me feel really sorry and like, not sorry, but like sad for anyone that was buying into it because they were like, they want to build their audience and they don't know. Like it was taking advantage of people who probably don't know any better. And like, that was what was really upsetting to me is that it's like, this person is established. They get huge brand deals. They have a huge following. And maybe they're not involved. Maybe it's just their manager, but it's taking advantage of smaller content creators.
Yeah.
And that's not okay.
No.
Like, it's just not.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. A lot to respond to there. That's fascinating. I did not realize that we were pitched on, or that you were pitched on something like that with someone local here.
Yeah.
I think, though, you touched on kind of my favorite point of this, because a lot of what I'm thinking about here is I'm trying to think of this from the perspective of somebody who would be doing this.
Yeah.
And the main thing that I always come back to is that person is probably thinking, look, I know this isn't great, but it's going to help me in the long run.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do it in the short term. And I think therein lies the problem, because what they don't realize is, no, this is actually not going to help you in the long run.
Yeah, it's not.
And it's like you said, you're not getting real followers. That's the part where it doesn't help you.
Yeah.
Like, forget just that it's kind of weird and gross, but like, if you think you're doing this in the short term because it's going to help you in the long run, consider that it's not. Because, like you said, excuse me, these people are not following you because they care about your content. They're following you because they want to win something. And that was actually, I totally forgot about this because we haven't done any giveaways in so long, but that's actually why you and I stopped doing giveaways.
Yeah.
And we're still, we do them every once in a while.
It's super rare.
It's probably been at least a year.
Yeah.
But we do them every once in a while when there's a product that we think your audience will be really excited about, or it's an audience that we really want to share with people. But we always go into it knowing we're not doing this to gain followers. No. And we do it in knowing that this is more to give back to the community than to grow our follower count. Because, what we realized, even when we were just doing our regular giveaways, we weren't even doing loop giveaways.
No.
And what we realized was the people that were following us because they wanted to win something. They didn't care. They didn't care about anything that you had to say or anything that you had to post.
Yeah.
And then it's worthless. Like, why do you want a follower just for a number, just to make you seem better to other people, or to make you seem better to a brand, like, or to even just boost your ego? Like, why do you want that number when that number represents a person who does not give a flying fuck about what you post? Like, how is that good?
Yeah, like,
it's not.
I remember the last few times we've done giveaways, like you said, it's been a long time, but looking at some of the people that would follow, and it was like, their account was literally just giveaway entries. I'm like, that's fine. Like, I get it. Like, everyone loves winning something. Everyone loves getting something for free. But it was like, that's not who I want to give back to. Like, just to be blunt, I want to give back to the person who's constantly supporting me, even with my lack of return on comments sometimes, well, a lot of the time. Like, that's who I want to give back to.
Yeah.
And I think with loop giveaways, it's so much focused on your growth and your follower number, and it's, again, just to go back to this, it's not about building community. And you can do giveaways that...
Sorry.
It's okay.
Keep going.
Like, you can do giveaways very easily that are about building your community. It's about giving back. And, like, there's nothing wrong with those. There's nothing wrong with those.
Again, it goes back to intent.
Yeah.
Like, if your intent is to do a giveaway to gain followers, then chances are the people entering that giveaway are going to be people who are entering that giveaway to win something, not to be engaged followers.
And once they realize you're not continually posting those giveaways, they're going to unfollow because they never cared to begin with.
Which is how those giveaway accounts get stuck in just doing giveaways all the time.
Yeah.
And then they're like, why can't I just post a picture about my dog? Nobody gives a fuck about my dog because your dog's not giving shit away, dude. Your dog's not helping people win an iMac.
Yeah. And the secret ones are where it's like...
Oh no. My water overflowed. I don't know why these are so, like...
You knocked it over just now, didn't you?
No, I knocked an empty one over.
Oh. Huh.
Anyway, it's just water. What's the worst could happen?
Well, in a secret loop giveaway is when it's like, go to this account and follow everyone they're following.
Yeah.
Because then it's like, publicly, they're not putting it out there, so... I think the mentality is then brands don't see it, audience doesn't see it. Like, it's really weird. And again, it's so much work and it's so much time that you could just be spending engaging with your audience.
Yeah, like actually being a real human.
Yeah.
Also, it's like, doesn't the fact that it's secret throw up a red flag?
Exactly. That's how. Yeah. Exactly. And it's weird because, like, you see, like, the Kardashians are in secret loop giveaways and things like that, and like, it's lucrative for them. It's lucrative. That's the bottom line. But, like, you're not a Kardashian. You're not Scott Disick. Like, it might work for them for now, but their following's going to be huge regardless.
Yeah.
Like, focus on community. The bottom line, focus on community.
Okay, so we took a quick break there. Mm-hmm. We both went to the bathroom. I cleaned up my water that I spilled everywhere.
Thank you.
We're not used to doing podcast this long.
No, this has been very long.
This has been very long, but I hope it's good information.
Yeah.
I think it is. Also, I like that we keep calling this a podcast, and I haven't even exported the audio from these episodes. Like, nothing about
Video
this.
podcast.
Like this does not exist yet anywhere, but as a podcast.
Give it time.
Right. So, I'm sorry?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. So number 4 that we have here on our list, number 3, is not disclosing properly.
Yeah.
So first of all, I do want to do a little plug here about me and Kyle's podcast, which also is not publicly available yet.
It needs to be. I always want to reference it.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. So for the last 2 years, I've been slowly but surely recording a podcast with our attorney, and by our, I mean Logical Harmony's attorney, about the legal side of being an influencer. And in that podcast, we definitely talk about disclosing properly a lot. Because we're already in an hour, I don't want to dive too deep into this. I think, because Kyle and I cover it so in depth that hopefully those episodes will exist at some point in the real world. But suffice to say that, again, I think this kind of goes back to a conversation about intent. If you're trying to not let your audience know that something is sponsored, you should question that.
Well, and I think, too, a lot of people don't realize how much you need to disclose. So, just disclose if a brand sends you stuff. Disclose if it's an affiliate link or an affiliate code. Just disclose. Just be transparent. Be honest.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Well, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, that's what I see most often is people not disclosing their affiliate links. They're not disclosing when brands have sent them stuff. And I truly think a lot of people just don't know.
Right. That's actually exactly kind of what I was going to address, which is people need to know that even if you are disclosing, there is a specific way you need to disclose. For example, if you're disclosing an Instagram caption, it needs to be before the read more button.
For a sponsored post, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, why else would they be disclosing?
Well, because I referenced when you're given product or when it's an affiliate code or affiliate link.
I mean, okay, I guess this is a good time to point out that neither of us are attorneys. We are not attempting to practice law.
No.
Nothing in this should be regarded as legal advice. You should obviously talk to an attorney. And additionally, because this industry is so new, these things are changing a lot. There's a lot of stuff going on that's going to really dictate over the next couple of years how these laws and how these rules and regulations are actually going to be enforced. So definitely, whenever you're listening to this, make sure you check with the appropriate legal counsel or whatever. That being said, there are certain ways that you have to disclose for certain relationships. But I think the basic, if we're going to go super macro 60,000 foot overview, I think that the most basic thing we can say is if there is a relationship from the brand, if you have some sort of financial vested interest in someone buying a product, tell your audience.
Yeah.
So if there's something that could sway your opinion, meaning a brand gave you stuff for free, or a brand took you on a trip to Paris, or a brand gave you $1,000 to talk about something, you need to tell your audience. That's number 1. Number 2 is knowing how to do that properly, and that's where what I was saying about the read more button comes into play. Don't write your caption and then somebody has to click read more, and then there's a hashtag cloud, and then somewhere hidden in the middle of that hashtag cloud it says hashtag ad. That's not properly disclosing. Again, it's not legal advice, but I think that pretty much sums that up. What else do you have to say?
Well, and just one thing that we've talked about with our attorney is err on the side of caution. So a good example, I think, is today I posted a selfie. I wore a lipstick from Necromancy Cosmetica. I've purchased from them. They've sent me shades. I literally couldn't remember, is this shade one I purchased or one that they sent? So I erred on the side of caution and said it was sent by them. There's a chance it wasn't. There's a chance it's a shade that I purchased. But in the act of transparency, it's better to disclose that they have sent me product.
Agreed. And you have to decide for yourself how transparent you want to be with your audience and what your risk tolerance is. If you're happy risking that the FTC is going to come down on you like a hawk out of the sky, then by all means, do whatever the fuck you want. But if you want to be on the safe side, it's probably better to, like Tashina said, err on the side of caution.
Yes.
Okay. I want to... Oh, go ahead, please.
I was going to say, and also don't be ashamed if you're using affiliate links on your Instagram stories. If your swipe up is an affiliate link, say so. There's nothing wrong with using affiliate links. If you were sent product, there's nothing wrong with being sent product.
Again,
Just be clear, and people will make their own decisions from there. I
totally agree.
And two, I think it's like when I talk about Lush, they send me PR. I also buy a ton of product, and they'll send me stuff, like not just Lush, other brands. They'll send me products and I repurchase them. And so I'll say, they've sent me this, but I've repurchased it too. Like, I feel like honestly it adds value to people when you're transparent, and then it helps them trust you more.
Yeah, totally. I could not agree more with you.
That's it. That's the only other thing I had to say. Because I think I notice a lot of people don't disclose affiliate swipe up links and stories because I think they don't know they're supposed to, which per FTC guidelines in the US you are. Again, not a lawyer, not an attorney, but if you read the FTC guidelines, you need to disclose those. And it only helps your relationship with your audience if you do.
Yeah, I mean, like, long before the FTC started really coming down on people, we were disclosing stuff. I still think that we disclose stuff better than most people, and it's because we care and we want people to know what they're doing. And if you feel like you need to hide something, if you need to feel like you need to hide the fact that your post is sponsored or the fact that you're getting an affiliate commission, maybe you need to like sit down for an hour of meditation and really just like think about why you feel like you need to hide something. And if you really feel like you need to hide something, like, just evaluate that.
Yeah.
Like, that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying what you're doing is right or wrong. I'm just saying, if you feel like you need to hide something, maybe you should think about why that is.
Yeah. And if you're not aware of those rules that exist per the FTC, research them. Like, they're very clear.
Listen to my podcast. They're very transparent. Doesn't exist.
Yeah, I would say listen to the podcast, but it doesn't exist. But, like, take the time to educate yourself because it's only going to help you and your audience. It's only going to help you and your community.
Totally. Okay, so we have two more left here. One is asking people to go like and comment on your posts. Mm-hmm. And the last one is complaining about free work. I want to save complaining about free work for last because I feel like it's really juicy. So asking people to go like and comment on your posts. You had wanted to give a lot of context for this. Do you want to go ahead and do that?
Yeah. So sometimes, like, actually not sometimes, frequently I will share my Instagram post in my stories and say, hey, let me know what you think about XYZ, or tell me your suggestions for XYZ. And so I want to be clear that, like, that's not what we're talking about. That's me being like, I genuinely want your feedback. I genuinely want to know.
Yeah, we're talking about a lot of times we see smaller influencers who, hold on, sorry, I need to turn off notifications on this. People who are like, hey, like this post isn't getting a lot of engagement. Please go like it. Please go comment on it.
Yeah.
And I'm not necessarily like, this is not a judgment. Like, I'm not saying there's necessarily something wrong with that, as in like right or wrong, morally or ethically. I'm just saying that is indicative of a larger problem.
Yeah.
Like, if your audience is not seeing your posts, if people aren't engaging, if they're not liking your content, I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong with asking them to go do that. I just think that, again, there's something bigger going on. It's like, you know, I don't know, like, it's like, I'm trying to think of a good analogy. It's not coming up. Yeah.
I can give a good example.
Sure.
So the post I posted today didn't do very well because I was doing other stuff instead of spending time on Instagram and engaging with my audience. And I think that's the perfect example. Like, your post isn't necessarily doing not great because of any other reason than you're not building a community that day. You're not being an active member in your community.
Yeah, I agree with that. I was trying to come up with an analogy for what that's like. Mm-hmm. It's like here's an analogy. It's like if you get into your car and there's a check engine light, and you go under the dashboard and disconnect the light. Well, you fix the problem of there not being a check engine light. That's true, but like the check engine light was indicative of a larger issue. Totally. And you have not addressed that by just disconnecting the check engine light.
Yeah. And if you're someone that's in comment pods, if you're doing loop giveaways and then you're having to ask for that, think about it from a holistic perspective. Yeah. And think about your community.
Yeah.
I think that's the bottom line is it's a community and you need to treat it as such. And like, I noticed a huge difference in engagement on posts on days where I'm not engaged with my community. Even if it's because I'm doing other stuff, like Instagram doesn't know that. They don't care.
Right.
So like really actively engage, and that's how you're going to see a return. Like invest the time to build your community. That's totally. The bottom line.
Yeah. I think that influencers are so good at making things look easy, and so people think they can get into it and it's going to be easy, and they don't put in the work, and then they're surprised that they're not getting a return.
It's so much work. I feel like even at my small audience on Instagram, it could be a full-time job just building that community and engaging with them.
Totally. I completely agree. And again, just, to kind of second what Tashina was saying and echo that, there's a huge difference in the intent here of, are you asking people to engage and comment on something because you actually want to hear what they have to say? Like our audience, like with Article, and when we were furnishing, our audience is super helpful. We know we can post a photo of an empty room and say, tell me what brands you love. What should I put in here?
Yeah.
What furniture, what art, and they will come through for us and let us know. That is different than, hey, go like and comment on this so that I can get my engagement up, so that I can get sponsored content.
Yeah.
Or so that I can get other people to see my content.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
And I get bummed when it's like I post something because I genuinely want people, like I'll post something and say like, what's your current makeup struggle or what products are you looking for? And I see people go through and see the story and they'll go and like post something else, but they don't share. And I'm like, but I want you guys to connect with each other and share with each other and like help each other out. And like, that was why I posted it, not because I wanted a comment, but because I wanted like an answer to the question. I wanted to hear your thoughts, your feelings, your opinion. Like, I love when people go through all my posts and engage with other commenters too. Like, it's super amazing to see.
Totally.
Like, again, like, I love the community aspect of it. I think it's amazing. I think there's so much value there for everyone.
Yeah.
Like, it's not it's about me to a degree because it's on a freaking selfie of me most of the time. But it's also not. Like, I want you guys to say, oh, I tried that foundation. Here are my struggles. And then someone else say, oh, I used it too. Here's what helped me.
Yeah.
Or like, oh, I also have that skin type. I tried this moisturizer. I loved it.
Totally. Yeah, it goes back to intent.
Yeah.
Okay. The one I'm really excited about. Influencers complaining about free work. Mm-hmm. So just to give a little bit of context again, this is, a brand reaches out and they want you to do something for free, or they want you to do something in exchange for product. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times we see influencers complaining about being asked. And hold on, sorry, dropped my bottle cap. I understand why people are complaining. I get it, because they feel like, hey, I offer a lot of value and I have this great engaged audience, and you're asking me to promote your products to them, but you don't want to give me any money.
Yeah.
I get it. And I think, well, first of all, you look like there's something you really want to say.
I was going to say we're guilty of that to an extent too. I do want to be transparent about that.
No. So I wanted to address that too. And here's why I think there's two ways of doing this, right? I don't think there's anything wrong with not wanting to do free work, because we don't complain about people asking us for free work.
No.
We just say no. And I don't think there's anything wrong with saying no. Like, please, nobody misinterpret. I'm not trying to say that you should always do free work. My only point here is that there are other value exchanges outside of the exchange of money.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of influencers do not get that. And that, like, when you and I say no, it's because it's not worth it. And I definitely think influencers should say no. I don't think that you should say no to everyone who wants you to work for free. I also don't think you should say yes. I don't think you should say
yes to everyone.
Yes to everyone who wants you to work for free. But I also don't think that you should say yes to everybody who wants you to work for money. Like, there are other value exchanges there. Like, I think it's really, really short-sighted when somebody refuses to work with a brand for free or in exchange for product, when the value exchange is actually really, really beneficial to the influencer. And I think that people tend to think, oh, if you're not giving me money, then whatever you are giving me is not worth my time.
Yeah.
And that is fucking bullshit.
Yeah. Well, and also, like, one, you don't know what the future holds for you or the brand. Like, the brand could explode and suddenly have huge amounts of budget. But also, if it's a brand that you genuinely love, like, why not? Like, I feel like
or if it's a brand that your audience is excited about.
Yeah, like, I feel like we've done so much stuff for free with brands that I love or our audience loves or both, where the brand is just emailed
in
them
exchange. We don't do stuff for free.
No. In exchange.
But people always say, oh, you're just offering me a product. You want me to work for free. No, they're offering you an exchange. You just don't like the exchange.
Yeah. And so much of it, too, it's like, I don't know, like, if I love the brand, if I love the people who work there, things like that, like, it's, the exchange is different.
Yeah.
Like, you know, there are certain brands that have never paid me, will never pay me. I will do basically anything they ask for in some capacity because I love them so much, whether it's the brand or the person who works there or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it's not about the money.
No.
Yeah.
No, I totally agree. And I think that is the issue, is that people get caught up in the money. They think it's only about the money. They think, oh, if you're not giving me money, then I'm not an actual influencer, or I'm not successful, or you don't value my time. And, like, you don't know what's going on at that brand. You don't. Maybe they really did just run out of budget, or maybe they don't have a budget. Maybe it's part of their policy that they don't pay influencers, but they're going to take you on this trip, or they're going to give you every product you ever ask for in perpetuity.
Which is, honestly, as a content creator, really helpful too.
Yeah, I mean, we save so much money by getting products instead of having to pay for them. So, yeah, I think like we said, the issue is people complaining about working for free. Boo fucking who. Like, you get to do what you love. Calm the fuck down. And also, no one's asking you to work for free. They're asking you to work in exchange for something. And third, you just don't like what they're offering, and it's okay to say no.
Yeah, it's totally okay.
Yeah, that's fine. That's totally your call to run your business that way and to say no to anybody who asks you for that. But I would just strongly encourage you to think about the value that they are offering, and then decide if it's worth it. And if it's not, then don't do it. But just stop complaining. I think that's you know what? Fuck complaining about working for free. Just stop complaining. Just fucking stop it. It's annoying. Nobody cares. Stop it.
Well, and I think too, like, you also have, in those situations, you have the ability to say no, but you also have the ability to tailor it.
Yeah,
and
to
you
negotiate,
say,
for sure.
Yeah, like, maybe it's not negotiating for money, but you can be like, hey, if you really don't have any budget, feel free to send it over. If I like it, I might talk about it.
Yeah.
If the brand genuinely thinks you'll love it, they'll send it anyway. And then if you actually like it, you can talk about it. Like, that's the thing I think people forget, is it doesn't need to be a monetary exchange all the time, but also, like, aside from just flat out saying no, there are variations of that. And, like, be open-minded, because, like, I don't know, maybe they send it to you, maybe you said, you know, you should pay me for this. They said, hey, I really don't have the budget. They send it anyway, and you freaking love it. Share it with your audience.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing wrong with that. And also, too, like, you never know what brands people are going to go to. I feel like a lot of contacts at brands that we have, they go from brand to brand to brand. and having those good relationships and like genuinely caring about them as people and caring about the
Totally.
brands for the products and the value it can give your audience and
Right.
your community.
And
It's
again, you're not
huge.
doing it to be manipulative. If you
No.
don't like the person as a person, don't support them. Don't be
No.
friends with them.
Yeah.
But if you
If you
develop
do.
a relationship with that person, then that's amazing.
Yeah, like we have quite a few contacts that like I text them random things
Yeah,
and like
totally.
we talk and like
Yeah.
I love them as people.
It makes me think of like, let's say you wanted to get married. Like let's say you were single and you wanted to get married, and it's like you meet somebody and it's not necessarily a date, but you hang out in a social situation. Maybe some of your friends connected you because they thought you might hit it off, and you're like, well, do you want to get married? And they're like,
Whoa.
no, I think I'm gonna, whatever. And then you just completely write them off. It's like, do you not get that friendships also exist?
Or other options, like maybe they just don't want to
Open
answer that question
relationships,
right now.
swingers. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. I know that's like kind of a messy analogy. It doesn't equate perfectly, but my point is just that like there's more than one type of relationship.
yeah.
And it doesn't have to be marriage or nothing. You can have friends. You can have people you hang out with. And I'm not talking about like, I'm not encouraging you to like go casually date and hook up with every person. Although if you want to do that,
You do
you
you.
do you. You do you and everyone else you want to do.
I'm staying out of that.
This is not, this is not a commentary on anybody's relationship. This is just saying that, things don't have to be all or
Applesauce,
nothing.
no.
And that you can build great relationships. Applesauce is hunting Juniper right now. Junie, look out! Behind you! You're being attacked! Oh, she caught on. Okay.
Sorry, I just saw that low creep
No, that's
applesauce
fine.
had.
That was super funny.
And Juniper was right next to the camera tripod, so I was like, this could be bad.
This could be bad. All right. I feel like we recovered this whole topic really, really well. We're at
Yeah.
like almost an hour and a half.
Yeah, this is super long.
What do you
if
think?
anyone's still listening, thank you.
I love you. Tell your mom to subscribe.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you like, I feel like we have more to say about everything, but I don't know that it needs to be said. I think bottom line, build your community, do it authentically, care about what you care about, and be okay with that, like whatever it is.
Yeah.
And like, don't make everything about money.
Yeah.
I think that's a huge thing of it.
There's-
Like,
yeah.
everything in life is not about money.
True.
Everything in community is not about money. Things are not transactional.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's the bottom line for me.
Yeah. I think that's a great wrap up. All right. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.